Hi, I'm Hailey, and I'm going to talk about the capsules and what they've done for me. I had a really rocky relationship with my mom when I was in high school, and she ended up kicking me out of the house when I was 16 because she found out that I was lesbian, and it wasn't like not a good thing for her at the time. And yeah, I was literally black and blue with bruises like to my body and soul when I left, and at my age, I was just like lost in the suffering, and this led me to self harm, just like to get away from like, just to deal with the grief and the pain. This was all that I knew, so that was my coping mechanism. I managed to get myself to college without letting my parents know, and then I was finally introduced to cannabis. While living in the dorms at SF State, a lot of the students used to like go to this lake nearby called Narnia, and that's where everyone would smoke because you couldn't smoke in the dorms. And I remember my friend just like handing me this like bong made out of like a water bottle, and I hit it, and when I took the puff, I just remember like just becoming into this whole different like this new awareness. Like I became so present, and I was I was no longer lost in the suffering. I realized, like the suffering's like not here anymore. Um, and yeah, I was no longer trapped in my past trauma, and I just became completely present. I was a little bit nervous at first because I do have asthma, but I haven't had an asthma attack since that day, since I started smoking. Um, then I was introduced to cannabis later. After I started smoking cannabis, I completely stopped self-harming, and I didn't experience any more of like as my asthmatic symptoms. Then later I was introduced to capsules, and this is more recent. And capsules are a cannabis flower. They're both high in like CBD and THC, mixed in vitamin X with supporting herbs. My first encounter with the capsule blend was the one for the nighttime, and I just remember waiting impatiently after I took it, like for the effects to hit, and then after like 30 minutes, I felt like this like calm, just like wash, just like a little like water falling over me, just like a rush of just like calm and peace, and I was just like happy, like because it like I knew that it felt it and it like came through, and then I literally shifted like my body so that I could was in a more comfortable position, like just with my bones. And I think that like the capsules really like helped me to be aware of my body and like how it was feeling, and it brought me that like um before I used to experience a lot of like pain. It's like chronic pain, and the capsules take away all the inflammation that I feel and the pain that makes it like hard to be sometimes. And so yeah, that's been really 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 helpful. um and now my pain is no longer present in my body, and I was led to kind of this awareness of my body's being. um and then I've just been sleeping through the night, and I haven't experienced insomnia, and every time I take a capsule before bed, I don't feel any resistance to sleep. After taking the capsules for about like 2 to 3 days, I started to feel better, just like in my being. Like I started to change the way that I operated, because I was no longer experiencing this like chronic pain and this like irritation. I was just walking through life, before, like just irritated with everything, and because of how my body was feeling. And then once I was taking the capsules consistently, the pain and the inflammation went down, and so I started to just be different. I was operating out of just like awareness, conscious, like love, and yeah, that the capsules have allowed me to separate like those two, like that being for me. I've been able to move through a period of stuckness with the capsules. I was operating, and just rooted in my stuckness, and I was avoiding making decisions that I knew I needed to make. Um, and once I was doing these capsules, the like all everything else, like all the weight, like the pain and like all these extra things that like I wasn't really paying attention to before but were really affecting me, all of that kind of like fell away, and I was like, oh wow, like I really should just like make these like few little decisions that would like catastrophically change my life. And yeah, since then I've just been living like happier, healthier, and more consciously.